Life Audio.
But what they're seeing, these either their correlations or their long-term indications, is that if individuals live life with some kind of positive spiritual meaning, that is affecting not only how they see themselves, but also how they relate to other people, it has these positive outcomes. It either protects them from anxiety, depression over time, or protects them from suicide. That's kind of like, the prevention aspect. But generally, it builds up that resilience and that ability to handle bad events and be able to get through life well. And I don't point it out just because it's a health issue. It is a health issue, but it's also a whole person issue. It's like what makes that person a human being is the ability to thrive, to be whole, to overcome obstacles, to deal with, you know, events, stressors, or in your case, persecution, right? It takes a bit of humility to recognize that you're not the center of the universe, that God's the center. That's a key lesson. Yeah, it's a key lesson. So theism is very, very important, right? The belief in God. And if you recognize that you are created and you are dependent on God, that humility is a remarkable strength as a human being because you're not trying to control every experience you have. You're not trying to control the people around you. You're recognizing that there's more power than just human beings. Yeah. That has usually another baseline, I think, effect has to do with the community connections. And we talked about this in our previous show. Yeah. That, you know, having meaningful exchanges and sharing each other's burdens and having a sharing of what the good and the bad is of life strengthens us as individuals. It helps us build resilience. And the opposite being isolation, right? And you can isolate yourself, as we mentioned before, through different means. It could be on your phone, right? The algorithms that drive you away from your community. So we saw some of that during COVID, and it's brought to everybody's attention. So the question of who's my neighbor? How do I neighbor? Right? Neighboring is a phenomena that is so essential to life. And we've sort of got comfortable with just ignoring the neighbor.
You know, there is something missing. We all feel it. We're never satisfied. It's like, oh my gosh, we long for this place where we had home, where we had safety, where we had connection, right? So, the faith life reinforces that and points you back to the Creator. So where you can get various levels of life back. And I would say so even if you're a Muslim, you're seeking wisdom, you're not going to have the Holy Spirit, or Judaism, unless you're converted Jew, you're not going to have the Holy Spirit, but still there's an orientation, right? There's an orientation and a correct worldview, and you're seeking God and you're going to get life from him. Now, if you become a full biblical Christian and the Holy Spirit comes in, you are plugged back in. You're a toaster that has been plugged back in and his current flows through you. So at a simple level, that's just the reality of being a human being, we would say. That's our state. And so when that is all denied, it's so corrosive because you're just left adrift and there's no answer. And you think about what the nihilist says or what the secular humanist says. It's just like, we are the brave ones. We are the brave ones because we've embraced the meaninglessness, but we find value in fill in, and they're all hopelessly inadequate.
All processes seem to go back to an originator, a first cause, a balancer of existence. Science can't make life and it can't keep life going. It's just sort of a descriptor process. We're going to describe what life is, but yeah. So it's unfortunate that folks will get stuck on one side of the bridge and never be willing to cross over and look seriously. Yeah. But I like this one analogy somebody used where they said, we were created in the image of God. And she said that it's like creating a glove. The glove is meant to be used with a hand in it, right? It has the ability to be filled with something. It's just not useful by itself. Maybe it's God that fills the love. And so some people walk around sort of flopping the glove around and maybe trying to fill it themselves, poke a few sticks in there, make it look like a hand, but it's never going to fit because the glove was specifically made for God's presence. Yeah, so when we say the Holy Spirit, we're saying that God becomes present in the form he made us, what we are, so we can be full, we can be alive, we're still going to suffer. We're still going to have hard emotions. We're still going to have all kinds of like bad decisions. But we now know this intimacy with God that couldn't be created any other way. Only on his terms of being God and our volition, our decision to want God in our lives.
Life Audio.